Anti-Afro Svengalis all across our nation this holiday season. People are enjoying themselves, getting together with family and friends they don't get to see as often, staying on the phone all hours of the night, participating in activities that come only this time of year. Then you have another sect of subjects or group, however you want to describe them, who amp up their efforts during the holiday season. They want to see how many people they can get to join them in their holiday misery. They do this year round, but during the holidays, they get especially motivated. They get especially rabid, vociferous in their effort to see if they can bring anyone along in their misery. This brings me to this very interesting focus that this Squeals-Bury, this Officer Squeals-Bury, Spilsbury, is turning on to families. I'm sure he must have forgotten all that he said about his own family, which I haven't heard, as far as I know, anybody repeat it, because I don't sit there and listen to his live streams, but I haven't heard anybody repeat some particular things about his family. But that is besides the point. Here is the situation. He's on this family kick, talking about everybody's family. It makes sense, given the circumstances that he has described about his family. But let me tell you something. There is absolutely nothing that Officer Squeals-Bury could ever say and do to me that would get me to change my decision about anything. If I plan to do something, I'm just going to do it. In particular, you could never use my family as a threat to me. I come from an upstanding family, highly accomplished, and if you came from a family like I did, you wouldn't be the way you are. Yes, we know there are exceptions to every rule. Look at the situation with the alleged shooter with United Healthcare. Everybody's talking about, oh, he came from an upstanding, he came from the family was so this and that. Okay, right. The problem is when you see someone in your family with an issue, you're supposed to do something about it. You aren't supposed to let it fester. I believe they knew it was him. There's no way you're going to tell me they didn't see this face and not know it was their relative. I say that for a reason. It wouldn't matter if we had an axe murderer in our family. I can guarantee you we would have been the ones to turn the axe murderer in. If you came up and talked about an axe murderer, if we had one in the family, which we don't, any threats that you make to me will not change what I post on this channel. The only people that have any decision about what I post here would be those running the domain. That would be YouTube and that would be Google. If you're not running the show with YouTube and Google, you have no say about what I'm going to post, what I will post, what I plan to post. Now, here's one thing that absolutely will happen. Crossing the line will get the authorities involved. I don't want to go off on all these tangents, but I got some clips about the fired teacher complaining to another sector about me calling the police. First off, I don't even know anyone there. They don't even know who the hell I am. Why the hell would that matter? It wouldn't matter to them. As sure as hell wouldn't matter to me. I'm going to call the police when I call the police. That is my decision. I'll call the ATF. I'll call the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. I'll call Georgia Department of Public Safety. And what I mean by that, they need to get jumping on this investigation about Carrie Ann and these firearms because she takes drugs. Yes, taking drugs means you're smoking marijuana, which is an illegal drug. It's illegal in Georgia. It's illegal in the federal system. So you can't legally own a firearm under these circumstances. So those are also police agencies that I will call. Why don't you go back to those other sectors and tell them that? Since you're so interested in putting my name out there to people who don't even know who the hell I am, they wouldn't give a shit. Why would they care? They care about dragging Carrie Ann's ass because she's making a fool out of herself. just like she's making a fool out of herself, being treated like dead dog doo-doo by Officer Squeals-Bury, Officer Spilsbury. Here's something else I want to make known. Any person who has been the subject of a search warrant, they have been charged or facing charges for any criminal act if said person issues any threats in any way connected with those potential charges. That is a crime. So any threat Squeals-Bury has made, whatever it is, that's potentially another criminal charge. So I can simply contact the investigator, I can contact the district attorney, I can contact the judge and let them know exactly what Squeals-Bury is doing. There's no way in hell I would ever let a drunkard get on YouTube and try to control what I post on my channel on this family kick. Obviously, he's on a family kick for a reason. Look at these subjects. They're miserable. It's the holiday season, and they're up here focusing inordinately on other people's families. That is telling. That is very telling, considering all what Squeals-Bury has said about his own family. That is his problem. That's not my problem, but it will be his problem when I get a hold of this detective, when I get a hold of the district attorney, when I get a hold of the judge, and let them all know he's making threats here on YouTube that are related to the crime that he's potentially involved with. Without having actual facts, it's hard to say what's going on, but this is something I will say. The police are not going to go through the trouble of getting a search warrant for black folks, and they're going to drop the case. They're going to get those search warrants if they got everything else tightened up on the other end. And if for some reason this Squeals-Bury claims I didn't do anything, he's going to have to testify. Going to have to testify either way it goes. You're not going to just let Squeals-Bury off without getting some skin. But then again, we don't even know what's really going on because nothing Squeals-Bury says is reliable. I don't believe anything Squeals-Bury says. I'm just saying, if this was all true, I am not going to believe a word of it. I'm going to believe what I find out. That's what I'm going to believe. I will not believe a word coming out of Squeals-Bury's mouth. He runs his mouth and runs his mouth and runs his mouth. For some odd reason, thinks he has some influence over what I'm going to post on this page. That will never happen. I am no Carrie Ann. Carrie Ann allows you to treat her like dead dog doo-doo, and she sits up under you on that raggedy ass channel. This is the only place where Squeals-Bury feels accepted. YouTube, he had to go to another sector and call a woman who he fights with all the time. That's what people are telling me. This is one of the women that he screams and hollers and calls names, but he goes and calls this woman and tells her about what happened. Like I said on Remix's live stream, he came out and said what happened because he was afraid that this woman was going to come telling him. Come on. Oh my God. Where in the world? Someone who is such a scaredy cat, a coward, impressionable, getting himself in all kinds of trouble, thinks he's going to shut me up and tell me what I'm going to post on this page. That will never happen. You'll be standing tall before the judge. You're explaining yourself as to why you're on YouTube threatening people. Tell it to the detective. Do that. Tell it to the DA. Get some more charges put on you. But you are not going to tell me what I'm posting on this page. What I'm posting would be facts, which is a lot more that I can say for Officer Squeals-Bury, because he's running around leveling false allegations against people who have never even been contacted by law enforcement. Then if he sees someone has been arrested for a crime and next to the arrest, disposition is acquitted, or charges have been dropped, he'll say that they were convicted. Doesn't know the difference between forcible and consensual sex. Well, that's another concern. And loves to try and lay labels on other black men about being pedophiles and child molesters and all that. Like he's holier than thou, and ignores other actual bona fide verified court documents. What do you expect from someone who cannot do a live stream unless cooked on God knows what substances? That will be something else revealing. How much marijuana or weed or anything else do they find during this supposed search warrant? Wonder if it was beyond the amount for personal consumption. We'll soon find out what, if anything, actually went down. I have to keep repeating, take precautions when it comes to listening to anything that Squeals-Bury says. Certainly isn't known for telling the truth. Doing all this because this is the only way he knows how to get people to cheer and applaud, which mirrors circumstances off YouTube. In order to get approval, you have to do something nefarious and perhaps criminal, which remains to be seen. You can call the police and report these people you claim are engaging in these criminal behaviors. You're never making any phone calls. You're just up here trying to accuse people of crimes for content. It's called slander. But here we have, apparently, and again, he's such a liar, I don't even want to run with it. I'm going to find out on my own, and I will post the information, and there's not a damn thing he can do about it. I'm sure as hell not going to decide what I'm going to do based on this threat. Oh my God, that is the biggest joke. The only reason why it wouldn't be a joke is that it's illegal. You're not going to subject me to any criminal acts. I refuse to sit there and allow anyone to subject me to a crime. That's what it is. It's a crime, making threats in association with the pending criminal charges or potential criminal charges. Again, we don't know exactly what happened because what he says isn't trustworthy. But if these circumstances are true, if a search warrant was executed, if there are potentially charges pending, if that is factual, then making the threats is going to put him in more hot water. And I will make those phone calls. I will reach out and send that documentation. There's no one in and around the Umar Johnson sector who's going to come up and say, if you do this, I'll do that. I don't give a shit. I don't care what you do. If you cross the line, I'm going to get the cops involved. I will call the police. I will file reports. I will do what I need to do. They will get with you. If you're breaking the law, you will be dealt with. Listen, folks, you know I got more coming your way. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.